This is Metrosource Minis, the official podcast of Metrosource Magazine and home of short-form interviews with your favorite personalities from the LGBTQ world and beyond. Quick, fun, and informative. It's Metrosource on the go. Out and proud since 1990. Well, hello, this is Metrosource Minis. I'm your host, Alexander Rodriguez. What do Princess Leia, Debbie Reynolds, Tilda Swinton, Pride, Sass, and People Magazine's best book of summer have in common? I will tell you. Byron Lane is an author, playwright, and screenwriter. His debut novel is called A Star is Born, and everybody loves it. It's about a celebrity assistant struggling to manage his eccentric and hilarious movie star boss, inspired in part by Byron's time as assistant to beloved actress and one of my personal favorites, Carrie Fisher. Lane also he wrote and co-stars in the play Tilda Swinton Answers an Ad on Craigslist. What the hell? It's a comedy hit that has sold-out runs in New York, LA, San Francisco, London, and Edinburgh Fringe twice. He wrote and co-stars in Last Will and Testicle, an award-winning web series about his testicular cancer diagnosis, which screened at festivals around the world. And he wrote and co-stars in a feature film called Herpes Boy, starring Academy Award winner Octavia Spencer, which won Best Comedy at Comic-Con, among many other honors. He's a regional Emmy Award winner from his time as a TV news journalist. Whew, I'm tired just reading his bio. Please welcome Byron Lane.
Hey, thanks for having me, Alexander.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm doing really great. I'm having a nice Saturday.
Yeah, good. You have been involved in so many different aspects of the entertainment industry. I'm just reading your resume. You can see it's so many different niches from novels to web series to films, independent films to journalism. But you've been so involved in the entertainment behind the scenes. Is it hard to watch a movie, read a book, whatever, without analyzing it? Are you still able to enjoy entertainment?
The good stuff that's pretty seamless is easy to just kind of coast through and enjoy. But there are definitely moments where I'm noticing things and thinking, are we still in Act 1? What's happening? So I do have my moments.
All right. So though A Star is Born, which I read in one sitting, by the way, I can't put it down. It's a work of fiction, but it seems very real and intimate, especially knowing your real life history. Did you have any trepidation with being so open with the character's personal issues? You deal with suicidal thoughts, depression, and a wonky father relationship, not to mention some real honesty about the entertainment industry.
I just have found in my life that the more honest I am, the better it is for me, for everyone around me. And often when I tell stories about my own life and my own issues with depression and therapy and working for Hollywood folks, most people are like, me too, and thanks for sharing, and I relate. And that kind of community building has been really lovely to experience. So for me, it's like the more the merrier. The more open I can be, the better. That's just been something that serves me, you know?
So I have to know, what was the feeling like when you opened the box and there is your debut novel, hot off the press?
You know, the weirdest thing about getting the first copy was I'd only seen it in photos on people's Instagrams and whatever, people who got advanced copies because of the pandemic, mailing was delayed. Yeah. And in all of those pictures, it looked like the book was enormous. And I was so scared that I was gonna get this book that was like 8.5 by 11, like a giant iPad size, but it was normal size. And so that was really my first reaction. But I'd already kind of cried all my happy tears. I cried happy tears when my agent liked it and when she agreed to be my agent. And that was a very meaningful moment for me. So I had my landmarks of like emotional moments. So when I got the actual thing, I was ready for business. I was ready for it to get out there and get it in more people's hands, you know?
Working for Carrie Fisher. Carrie Fisher is so beloved among science fiction fans, the LGBT community, classic Hollywood lovers. I mean, she's part of Hollywood royalty. Yeah. She herself, a definite name for herself with certain feelings and emotions that you can't help but feel every time you hear her name, the good and the bad. What were some of the most important things that knowing Carrie and your friendship and working with her has taught you for everyday life?
Her sense of humor spread to every moment of my time with her. Even just running casual errands was super fun, lighthearted, And I think for me, a big takeaway from my experience with her was just that, like not to take life too seriously, that you can find humor in anything, that humor heals. And I would say that that was some of Carrie was just super fun and in a big-hearted, loving way. And I'm lucky that I got to experience that and see what it looks like to live your life that way. And I've tried to take a little bit of that into my own life and my own journey since my time with her, you know.
Well, and that energy certainly bleeds through Star is Born. I mean, what the characters say and go through, you read the whole book with a smile, and you get to the end, and it's so bittersweet. You know, it's really emotional because you really bond with these characters, and humor is so important for me as well, and for getting through everyday things. And I think that's what a lot of people need to hold on to and to appreciate is never lose that sense of humor.
Yeah, it really is true.
Very true, especially in today's climate. You know, everybody is so angry for good reason, but sometimes you can just take a breath and have a good laugh or see the humor. I mean, I see the humor in my outfit today.
I love your outfit. What is it?
It's a little floral, you know, a little Saturday morning floral.
What are you wearing? Right, I love it. It's very cool.
Thank you. All right, so Last Will and Testicle is your web series about your cancer diagnosis. And not only are you going through quarantine right now, like the rest of us, but you started chemo again.
Yeah.
Tell me what going through chemo again does to somebody mentally, and how do you get through that?
So my testicular cancer diagnosis was first 5 years ago, and they took out the testicle with the cancer, and then all of my tumor markers and all that went back to normal. And so the doctor said, you don't need to do chemo now. You can just keep coming in regularly. We'll do tests, and if it comes back, and we treat it then. So I did that, and sure enough, like almost at the 5-year mark, I went in for another scan, and it showed the cancer had returned in some lymph nodes. So I've been doing chemo for that, and I don't know, this has been an interesting experience because I was sort of, the cancer thing happened so long ago that I already went through that phase of accepting like a sort of sense of vulnerability and mortality. And so then now having to deal with it again, there's a little bit of me that's like nervous, will it ever really end? They say that this kind of cancer is curable, and like in more than 90% of the cases, this treatment knocks it out and it never comes back. But I think I'm gonna have like that little nagging part of me now that's always like, live a little bit more to the fullest, you know, because you never know. And that's but I say that with optimism, you know, I'm generally a really positive thinking person. And so I am ready to see what happens next. And I saw this thing spray painted on a sidewalk in LA. Someone spray painted, live this life. And so I really do try to just embrace that. Like, this is my journey, whatever's ahead, we'll deal with it. So that's kind of where I am. And I mean, the chemo has been unpleasant at moments, but it hasn't been as bad as some of the other people next to me in that room. So I do go into it with some gratitude that it's not the worst it could be. And I'm really just, I am looking forward to it all being behind me, though.
Well, and it's interesting, you know, we're in quarantine, which can be so isolating. And I know a number of people, especially from the LGBT community, have this isolation, isolated from friends, family. And there's you know, depression is very rampant right now. And I can imagine, and from what I've seen with cancer within my own family, is, you know, people feel and want to feel bad and they want to support you. But going through chemo and going through a cancer diagnosis it's very much on your own, and it's very isolating. And having to go through it, it is your journey, it is your mortality. That coupled with quarantine. Do you have any tips for somebody that might be going through a depression from feelings of isolation?
Oh, gosh, I mean, reach out to whoever you can. I mean, I'm fortunate that I live with my boyfriend Steven, and he's been awesome. And I have a little dog, Tilda, who's beside me snoring, and they both bring me a lot of comfort and joy and love. I've also been in therapy for years and years and years, and I have a huge stack of self-help books. So I feel like I'm filled with tools that help me when I have feelings of depression and anxiety. And so I guess I would just encourage someone who might be experiencing the same thing to reach out to someone who can help. There are also lots of like online resources and chat rooms that are free, where you can find a licensed therapist, and sometimes you can find people who are just available to listen. And so that's my advice: reach out. You're not alone. And gosh, there are a lot of people who are isolated right now. This is a really weird time.
Very weird time. So you mentioned your boo, and I just had to ask you, I'm in the entertainment industry as well. You have seen so many sides of it, like we said. You came out of it with a boo. You know how lucky you are?
I know. It's so crazy. It was OkCupid. We met on OkCupid.
Oh, you did. So I was going to ask you, how did you guys meet, and what tips do you have for dating in the entertainment industry? Because I need some help.
Oh, it was hard. I mean, for me, it was, I just had this thing in the back of my head that it was a numbers game. And so I was just going on dates and dates and dates and dates. And I do remember when I met Steve, we met on OkCupid. I thought his profile was so funny. And then we talked on the phone, and then we met at a Pinkberry. And when I left that, I called a friend of mine, my friend Iva, and I said, I think I met my husband. Like, it was just very clear to me. It was just so easy and so lovely. And maybe I had a sense of that from years and years of dating, that I kind of had a sense of what felt right and what felt forced, and things with Steve were just so lovely and easy. And I was also, I'm 41 now, about to be 42. And so this was 7 years ago. So I was, in my 30s, and I had not had a serious relationship before Steve. So, it just hang in there. That's my advice to everyone. Just hang in there, follow your heart. I will say one thing I liked about OkCupid is you could answer all those questions, and so you could weed out a lot of the areas where you weren't compatible pretty early on. So that's my pitch for OkCupid. But my big picture thing is just keep going. There's someone for everyone, and you got this. You got this, friend.
But all those questions, I have no patience for that. Like, even my Grindr profile is like, I'm here.
I say put that in, answer all your questions, but I don't have time for this. And then someone's gonna be like, you're my guy. I get it.
Byron, we're celebrating Pride this season. What was your coming out story?
So my coming out story was revolved around the film Titanic and Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh my God! Okay, I still have magazine after magazine with Leo when he came out at like the Vanity Fair, when he did Romeo and Juliet. I still have calendars. I am a Leo freak. You are talking to the right person.
Hey, teammate. He was like my first like crush. And Titanic was out, and I'm from a kind of a conservative family. And I went home and was chatting with my sister. My parents were divorced. It was a mess. And I was chatting with my sister, and then and I told her, she was the first person I told. She had a poster on her door, a Titanic poster, and Leonardo was on one side, and Kate was on the other, and so I kind of positioned myself like where Kate was, as if I was going to kiss him, and then so that was my coming out. And then she told my dad, and then my dad had to have a family meeting, and it was all a little bit messy. And that was many years ago. That was just when I was getting into college, and they've come a really long way in their journey of acceptance and all that stuff. But that's how it started.
We're in a very interesting Pride season this year for many different reasons. What does Pride mean to you this year, different than any other Pride season?
Wow. Well, Pride is such a personal thing. I will say speaking of Pride, I feel really proud. I feel really proud of our community, the way we've stepped up to help other marginalized communities. As a gay man, I just feel like we are experiencing a period of visibility that we haven't experienced before, thanks to the many brave people who came before us. And I'll tell you, like I said, coming from a conservative family, this is still, even as I enter my 40s, is still a new feeling for me. This feeling of being really proud to be gay, and so I think that's what I'm going to mark this year's Pride with, is celebrating that I actually feel such a heartfelt sense of pride in our community.
I absolutely love that. Okay, are you ready to play a little rapid fire?
Yes, let's see what happens. Oh my God.
Okay. Most awkward celebrity meeting.
Ugh. Oh my God, I'm terrible at this because I'm not very rapid, am I? I'm trying to think who I've met or whatever. Well, I guess the first person I ever met was Sean Lennon, John Lennon's son, and that was I was working for Carrie, and she said, "I'm going to introduce you to your first celebrity." And so we were in New York, and she was friends with him and invited him to the hotel room. And I opened the door, and he's so kind and so cool. Was there with a top hat. It was like you couldn't have scripted a better encounter. But it was really just like, hello, and then I got out and let them hang out, and so that was my mom.
Okay. Guilty pleasure TV or movie that you're watching during quarantine?
We've been watching a lot of the old school stuff like Air Force One, a lot of Tom Cruise movies. We just watched that Live, Die, Repeat. What's that one? Where he keeps Day of Tomorrow or Day After Tomorrow, or I don't know. I can't.
Oh, I love that one with Emily Blunt.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I can't remember the title. Yes, they changed. They were going to change it to Live, Die, Repeat. I don't know, something like that. But anyway, that's been my guilty pleasure. We're going through like a Tom Cruise period, really.
You know what I'm addicted to are the old disaster movies like Airplane, 74, whatever, Poseidon Adventure. I can't get enough of it.
They're good. They're good, especially during this time,
Oh, yeah. Byron, what celebrity would you want to share your quarantine bed with?
My quarantine bed?
Yeah.
Oh my. Gosh, who's my celebrity crush right now?
Yeah. Who's your hall pass?
James McAvoy is kind of my guy these days.
He's like vanilla pudding. Like,
you're not feeling it? Oh, who's yours?
Tom Hardy.
Oh, that's a really good one. That's a really fun one. Yeah. That's a really fun one.
I like skinny Tom Hardy, chunky Tom Hardy, any Tom Hardy. Okay.
Did you see his movie yet?
Which one? The Al Capone?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm literally, it's on my list to watch tomorrow.
Cool.
Byron, one thing you will never take for granted again from having to go through chemo.
This is too big of an answer, but health. It really is true. Like right now, I feel so good. I feel so alive. I'm interested in the blue sky and the green grass. But when I'm not feeling well, when the toxins are in me, I just want to sleep through the whole thing. So my health really is front and center.
Byron, thank you so much for chatting with me. Can you tell us we can find and follow you and where we can find your book?
So the book is available anywhere books are sold, starting on July 28th, but you can pre-order it now. I always like to do a little pitch for if you have a favorite local indie bookstore, or you can go to indiebound.org and type in your zip code, and they can help you find a cool place to support some local businesses. But other than that, I'm on Twitter at Byron Lane and Instagram, byronlane.com, and I'm on Facebook, Byron Lane. So I would love to connect.
Yes, for sure. And I'm not even lying. So I did get one of the advanced copies, and it's perfectly sized, by the way. And
yes.
I started reading it, and I literally just read it through the night, and I am so glad that I did. It's such a joy. That has been our episode with Byron Lane. I'm your host and lead writer for MetroSource, Alexander Rodriguez. You can follow me on Instagram at AlexandersOnAir, and you can binge listen to all of our episodes featuring your favorite celebrities from our MetroSource issues. Until next time, stay true, stay you, do you, boo! All right. Happy Pride, everybody. That has been another MetroSource Mini. Like, share, and subscribe on your favorite podcast player, and check out the latest issue of MetroSource Magazine on newsstands or online at metrosource.com. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram at MetroSource, and on Twitter at MetroSource Mag. Until next time, stay fabulous.